Hello everybody and welcome back to Talk of the Town. We have a very exciting show for you today. I'm here with a very unique individual right here in Milton. I'm continuing the series Behind the Faces of Milton. And I don't know if you know this gentleman, but he's an artist who lives in East Milton. And I went by his house one day and he was working on some of his projects and we got into a conversation and I thought he would be a great topic, a great personality to have on the show today. I'm here with Steve Harris. Steve, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brian.
Now, Steve, now folks, don't turn that dial because this guy, when I met him, he was packaging up some crates, sending them, where you were sending them to?
They were going to Prague. Yeah.
To Prague. And he was doing a project for Monster.com, and we'll show you some of the activity he did with them in a little bit. But are you you're a teacher in Boston Latin, right? An art teacher?
I teach art at Boston Latin from 7th grade, 8th grade, 11th and 12th.
Okay, so 8th, 11th, and 12th. Okay, and so would you call yourself a sculptor, or what is your title as far as your work here?
Well, I do a lot of freelance artwork on my own. Obviously, I have a degree in art education, so I teach art.
Okay.
But on my own, I do a lot of sculptural work. I've been doing that for years. A lot of it is either for myself or I do have some stuff that I have sold here and there. Once in a while, I have some clients such as Monster.com, which I've had them for a long time. Every once in a while, if they open a new office, they might require some new decor items, and we will work on something like that. But for right now, the stuff that we have today to show you is some of the stuff that is hanging on the front porch.
So you may have driven by his home. I'm not going to give the address, but those of you who have gone by his home have seen some of his artwork and probably going, "What is that? And what's going on here?" Now this is the story behind the artwork. What do we have here, Steve?
One of the sculptures that is hanging up out in the porch is it's a hammer. It's a flying hammer, and I came up with the idea. Basically, I first made this sculpture here. This here is plaster. It was originally made out of clay, and then a mold was made out of it. And then after that mold was made, we have a plaster casting. From there, I thought it would be kind of interesting to have the hammer fly. I like the idea of just wings and things that move, so I wanted to make a sculpture that was kinetic, that would move in the wind. So I didn't want to just have the hammer hanging there, so I thought I'd make it look like a bird. So what I've done here is, there's a couple parts to this project. First we have the model, then from there, if you'll...
I'm going to go over to the camera.
Okay.
So folks, I'm going to get behind the camera and get a better close-up in of you. You can show the folks at home what you're doing, or how you make these things here, Steve. Okay, so let's see. Okay, go ahead, Steve. Let me move the camera up a little bit. All right.
Sure. Should I just...
Go ahead.
So we have the model here.
Yeah.
Then after this model is made, you have to make a rubber mold. And now with the rubber mold, I cast liquid plastic in the mold, which is something like fiberglass, so that I get a hollow casting. This is plaster, so it's very heavy. So right here...
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's the mold.
This is the mold. So if you look inside, it's hollow.
Okay.
So the liquid plastic goes in here.
Liquid plaster?
Plastic, actually.
Plastic?
Plastic, yes.
Oh.
It's a part A and a part B. It's a resin. And once it's poured into the mold is agitated around, and then when you take these are the plaster key pieces that are taken off, and then you get a hollow casting. So after that casting is made, there are some other parts to the sculpture, the wings. So these have been slightly damaged because a mold has been made off of these. So what I did is I took a piece of plexiglass and I cut it to the shape of the wing, and then I bent it. I put clay on it, and then I started to manipulate the clay to obviously simulate feathers. So that I made a left side and a right side. And then to finish that, a mold had to be made of this. So basically, right here is one of the wings in a mold. So what we have here is two rubber bands that hold the plaster shell in place. The plaster shell is called the mother mold, and what that does is it holds the rubber piece so that when you cast the liquid plastic inside, so here's the mold inside, it's hollow. If you open it up, you can see the feathers inside.
Yeah, hold that for a minute. Let me zoom in there. Okay.
So basically, and you can see this is a key. So this is the hollow shell.
Right.
So it goes into the casing. The two plastic pieces go over it. It gets locked into place. And then the liquid plastic gets poured into this hole. When that's done, you get a casting that comes out of it. So this casting right here is very lightweight, and it's plastic. Then from there, with the sculpture that's on the board, so then from there on the hammer, the plastic version, basically this was cut and then these were mounted into the actual sculpture. So basically the one that you see hanging is very lightweight, so that obviously that it can move in the wind and it can hang without obviously falling. So for that sculpture, that's pretty much, I mean, there's a lengthy process to the technique.
How long does it take once you come up with the idea? After you made the, I guess, the whole process, how long does it take?
It really depends what else is going on. Sometimes it can take up to 2 months, 3 months, or in certain cases, like some of the larger sculptures on my porch, it can take up to a year, because I might stop working on it for a while to start something else, or lose interest for a while, and then obviously come back to it. So it really depends what's going on. So with this one, that's
See, what we have here, this is the finished one, right?
This is the finished project. So this project right here, this is taking those molds that were downstairs, casting the plastic, and now we have a hollow casting. The hammer is very lightweight, so it can blow in the breeze, and it's been painted silver just so it can reflect the light.
All right.
Nice hollow casting.
Excellent.
Some of you might recognize this particular character. This is from Monster.com. This is a logo character. He's called TRUMPASAURUS. This particular one right here, this is once again a plaster copy. This has been sitting out in my backyard now for a couple of years, so it's kind of damaged. The original one, once it was made, a copy was made of it, and it was sent to an office in New York City. The original artwork, the design, wasn't created by me. There's an illustrator who actually came up with the image. But what I did is I took his image, his two-dimensional drawing, and I made a three-dimensional version of it. Once again, this is high relief, so it comes off of the surface plane toward you, and it's made to look three-dimensional, even though it's only two-dimensional. I mean, pretty much it's not. I mean, it is three-dimensional, but it doesn't have. You can't walk around it, so it's high relief. When Monster.com opens an office, sometimes what they'll do is they want to decorate the interior, especially the main lobby. So what we've done in the past, and Brian, I'll give you these pictures so that you can scan them in if you like. We make three-dimensional versions. Well, I make three-dimensional versions of this character in the round. So this one here is a relief sculpture, and then this one here is a three-dimensional version. The first one that I ever made was back in when I worked for PM Design in Hyde Park. I was a freelance artist that was hired to work there, and I worked there for a number of years on different projects. And one of the major clients that I have ever worked with was Monster.com. Since that date, which I think was probably around '96 when the company first started in Maynard, Massachusetts, and the largest sculpture that we made for them was this one right here, which
hold that nice and steady. I'll zoom right in.
Which is a 10-foot sculpture. It's 10 feet high, by 6 feet wide, by about 6 feet deep. It's in their main lobby. So this is when the company first opened, and then there were many different magazine articles with the CEO, Jeff Taylor, who has since left the company. He used to like to sit in the mouth when they used to do their some of their photo ops. We have a couple of pictures like that. So, and these sculptures, basically, I still make them up to today. Like I just finished making a couple years ago. Well, actually, what am I talking about? Last year, for an office in Prague. And that's how I met you, Brian. You came across me packaging them up in a crate to be shipped out. So pretty much that's the main commercial client that I deal with. Every once in a while they might order something, and sometimes a couple of years can go by and